Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Las Cruces. We welcome those of you who are in the sanctuary this morning or joining us online. It is a joy to be together in worship. I'm Elvira Masson. I'm your service associate today. Go by the pronouns she, her. I'm a 66-year-old white woman of, believe it or not, the average height of an American woman. Literally, just under 5'4", and I suspect I'm really average in a whole lot of other ways, too. I've got short graying hair, and today I've got a lilac top on and a black skirt and Birkenstocks, because that's how I roll. A warm welcome to all our guests, whether this is your first visit or your umpteenth visit, you are part of this beloved community. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you're from, whatever your life circumstance, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, documentation status, or spiritual path, you fit in here and you belong here. Your story matters. Your presence is a gift. If you are new or still finding your way, we'd love to connect. Online friends, please say hello to Mike in the chat. And if you're here in person, feel free to raise your hand so we can bring the mic to you. I can bring the mic to you. We'd love to know your name and where you are joining us from. Do we have any visitors today? Phone. There we go.
Hi, my name is Carolyn, and I've been here a couple times, but it was a long time ago. So, hi, Lori. So I do know someone here, yes, but it's been a long time. So just thought I would come back, and I brought my daughter with me today, so.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome. Would you like to say anything? Great, thank you. We're pleased that you're back and that you've brought your daughter with you today. Please, if any visitors who are here fill out a visitor's card, place it in the offertory basket when those come around, or give it to a greeter in the lobby, or send us your email so we can invite you to other services and activities in this church. And if there are visitors here who are feeling shy this morning and you're curious about our congregation, you too, go ahead, complete a visitor's card, and you'll receive the same invitations. If you have any additional questions, join us in the lobby. There's a pamphlet rack in the back. Right after the service, we'll be there. Now, I have to take a breath. As we enter into this time of worship, lean into the joy, the music, and the movement of this multi-generational space. And now, in the spirit of love and connection, please turn to your neighbor and share a warm greeting. And we're timed this week, you might notice.
Wow, we did really, really well with that. Go us. I had to look back a couple of times to see how many more seconds I had, but we did great. Good morning. Oh yeah, that's right, you all do that. Sorry, I'm from the DC area. I don't expect to be spoken to back. So I'm the Reverend Ali Casey Bell, and that's Ali like Muhammad Ali. I know that my Southern accent sometimes makes it sound like Ali, like O-L-L-I-E, but I'm like Muhammad Ali, Ali. My pronouns are he and Reverend Ali. Visually, I am a short and sturdy, dark-skinned, Black, transgender man. My pronouns are he, or if you just can't remember that, Reverend Ali does just fine. I have a short, curly, salt and pepper haircut with the sides shaved, because I think I'm cool. I'm wearing a light blue button-down shirt and dark blue pants with the turquoise and purple stole that has paisley patterning on it. This was one of the stoles from my ordination from my home congregation. Shout out to the UU congregation, First Church of Wilmington, Delaware. Yes. Today we'll start our service with a responsive invocation. I'll speak a phrase, and the choir, who is awesome, right? Give it up to the choir. Yeah. The choir will lead you in the response. You'll find the words on the screen or in the teal hymnal, and it's hymn 1037. For remaining silent when a single voice would have made a difference.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
For each time that our fears have made us rigid and inaccessible.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
For each time that we have struck out in anger without just cause.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
For each time that our greed has blinded us to the needs of others.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
For the selfishness which sets us apart and alone.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
For falling short of the admonitions of the Spirit.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
For losing sight of our unity.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
For those and for so many acts, both evident and subtle, which have fueled the illusion of separateness.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
May it be so.
I'm extra clumsy this morning. Whew. Here it is. Okay. Good morning, church. Good morning, Eric. I am Eric Ramirez. I serve as your music director. My pronouns are he, him, or just Eric. I am a 5'9" brown Puerto Rican gay man of medium build. I think I'm medium. Today, I am wearing a black shirt with a design of many little diamonds of various colors and light tan pants. Today I smell of sandalwood and myrrh. I know. Our gathering hymn this morning is hymn number 6, Just as Long as I Have Breath. I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we join our voices together in song.
In our Unitarian Universalist tradition, we light a chalice as symbol of our shared faith and community. I'm going to be lighting and saying, oh, there's Eric. I'm sorry. He did. He's sneaky, and I love him. As we light our chalice in the sanctuary, we invite those joining us online to share in the chat where you are lighting yours. I'm going to be saying the words from Lois Van Leer, "Let us begin again in love." Having let go, set our intentions, named our curiosity, committed our energies, and given ourselves over to the lives in balance, purpose, and meaning, let us begin again in love. Now, if you would please rise in body or spirit and join me in saying the church's affirmation of covenant and singing the doxology in English and Spanish. The words will be on the screen. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another.
Church. It never gets old. I am Kelly Ingram, pronouns she, her, or granny, and I am your Director of Religious Education. I am a 5'3" biracial woman with black and silver hair, silver and black glasses, and today I'm wearing, you guessed it. This morning I'll be reading the story Our Table by Peter Reynolds. Violet fondly remembered the table. She remembered gathering food, preparing the table, cooking meals, lighting candles, so many stories. Laughter, singing, talking, making memories together. Recently, though, Violet found herself alone at the table. Her family had become busy, very busy. They had found different, new places to be. Violet found her father in his favorite chair, in front of the big screen, bigger even than Violet. She found her mother on the staircase, quietly chatting and typing on her phone. Violet found her brother in his room, on a screen, playing games with friends that she could not see. Feeling quite alone, Violet dreamed of a time when families and friends would gather at the table. Then, walking by the room where the table had stood quiet, Violet did a double take. She noticed something had changed. The table looked smaller. The next day, it had become even smaller. By the end of the week, it had shrunk so much that it easily fit in the palm of her hand. Violet blinked and boom, the table had vanished. Sad, Violet held her chin up. She knew exactly what she had to do. Violet climbed into her father's lap in front of the big screen and asked him if they could watch a show about carpentry together, and they did. Violet sat with her mother on the stairs and asked her to write a message and post it to see if anyone knew how to build a table, and she did. Violet asked her brother to use his computer to help draw out plans together, and they did. Violet was ready. She asked her family to build a new table together, and they did. When they were done, Violet marveled at their creation, a place to gather together, to share stories again, to love and to laugh and to make new memories. It looked like a stronger table, a more beautiful than ever table, and it was. Thank you.
Wow. As we enter this quiet moment together, I invite you to pause and take a steady, gentle breath in and out. Let your breath anchor you here and now in this circle of care. This is a time to honor the fullness of life, the joys that lift our hearts, the sorrows that weigh heavily, the questions we carry quietly inside. Whatever you bring this morning, know this: you are not alone, and you are held here. In the wider world, we hold those who journey through grief and uncertainty, be they federal workers facing job loss and instability, immigrants seeking safety, trans and non-binary beloveds, women and people of color, those living with illness or disability, confronting injustice. We hold up all who live under the shadow of war and violence. May peace, however fragile, find a way. We honor their courage. We carry them in love. And in this gathered community, we take a sacred pause to share what rests on our hearts. This time is set apart for lifting up our joys, honoring our sorrows, and marking the milestones of our lives. It's not a space for announcements or politics, but for the truths that move within us. So, you are invited to raise your hand to have the microphone brought to you, or to come forward and speak your words aloud, placing a stone in the water. So you can see there's a bowl of stones and a vase with water in it. However, if you prefer, you might come forward, take a stone in silence, and as you release it into the water, let it carry the joy, the sorrow, or the milestone that you hold today. And we'll let the ripples remind us what we carry is never ours alone. So is there anyone who would like me to bring the microphone to them this morning? Testing, there we go.
My name is Carol Cassavant. Just spent a month up in northern Idaho. What is momentous about that occasion was there were few fires, no smoke, and the fires that were going, we had rain, which normally we do not have between June and September. We had sprinkles enough to help the firefighters, but not to cancel the wheat growers. Last year came back to friends were being evacuated, a winery burnt down with 25,000 gallons of wine burnt. Not this year.
Anyone else? Do I see another? Oh, yes.
I'm Michael. Some of you have had the misfortune of having to deal with me in the past, and I have always been willing to share the joys. This week, I must bring a sorrow that a good friend of mine failed to show to work. When they went to check on him, he'd had a massive stroke. He is in hospital, unresponsive, and the family is gathering, and it brings me great sadness. But somehow sharing that sadness with you will relieve my burden. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Jody Natchison. I have a joy and a sorrow that's combined like a Tootsie Roll, and it's still spinning. The sorrow is that I recently learned of a man who was adopted. He's 60 years old. He has been searching for his birth parents for many, many years, and he gave up. And a couple of weeks ago, he got another notice. He decided to listen to this one, pay attention to it. Well, to make a long story short, he's my husband's son, who he had 5 years before I met him in one of his earthly flings. I don't know if Jerry ever knew that he had this son. I don't know if, I'm not even sure where they were, if they met in Kenya or if they met here. It's just very confusing. But he has connected with our family, and he says he's never felt this good before. The sorrow is that, You know, Jerry died about 6 months before they found each other, and it would have been lovely, but it's lovely just the way it is. So thank you.
Are there any other hands? Is there anyone who, oh, here it comes.
I guess it's a joy within sorrow. Jillian Lang is not here today. She hasn't been here for a bit. I don't know if anyone knows the situation. Talk to her. But it does have to do with family. She has gone to Oregon to be with them. But I spoke with her this week, and I was glad she was less down than before. But I know that Jillian has been watching the service on YouTube, so hello from your church. She just actually said hi.
Is there anyone else? Did I miss anyone? Is there anyone who wants to come forward and put a stone?
Uh, I'm Shah Nejad. Life is a journey. So it's been a while, you know, when I came to this country, it's 68 years, you know. Here I am in this covenant and seeing all you guys. So I tell myself, how did I get here? So it's just amazing. A lot of stories, and every one of you have a story to tell. So anyway, a lot of ups and downs. And what's going to happen from here on forward? You know, the life is carries in this vessel that you have. But anyway, I'm glad being here, being part of the choir, and just have a joy, you know. Thanks for listening. I had lots of fear, you know, to stand up and talk about something. But anyway, I'm here. So.
And we're glad you are. As we close, let's offer one final stone for all the unspoken prayers that live in our hearts, joys and sorrows, griefs, milestones, and gratitude held tenderly by this community.
I realize that I'm turning these pages because I generally turn the page, but I'm going to do an extemporaneous prayer. There's nothing on these pages. Oh, Spirit of life and love, of connection. Thank you for this day, for this place, and for these people. Thank you for the hearts who were hesitant and spoke their joys. And thank you for the hearts who were hesitant and spoke their sorrows. Thank you for the hesitant hearts who couldn't bring the words out, but dropped a stone so that we could all share in the joy and sorrow that they bring into our community. I don't know about you, but this week has been a heavy one for me. There are so many ways that our country seems to be skewing in a way that I don't recognize. Help us to hold on, to act, to continue to love, and to build each other, because we know that one tiny action completed with another tiny action and over, we'd be just like those little ants that move the rubber tree plant. Let us move this plant. Let us move each other. Let us change the world for good. So may it be. Amen and Ashe.
Stillness, hold the stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, hold the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony.
As we gather in this sacred space, we are invited to invest in our church's mission and shared life. The offering we take today and every Sunday is more than financial support. It's a reflection of our commitment to this community and the values we strive to live out: love, justice, welcome, and care. Our church depends on each of us. Your generosity sustains our worship, programs, partnerships, and our ability to grow in faith and service. Whether you make a one-time gift, support today's Change for Change partner, or fulfill your annual pledge, every contribution helps strengthen our community and extend our reach. This quarter, our Change for Change partner is KTAL-LP Community Radio, whose work since 2017 has brought diverse music, culture, education, and local issues to the airwaves. Learn more at lccommunityradio, all big one word, .org. Through this partnership, we carry our values beyond these walls. You can also give online at uuchurchlc.org, by mail, or by placing your gift in the basket. Every gift matters, and every gift makes a difference. The offering will now be given and gratefully received.
Love makes a bridge from heart to heart and hand to hand. Love finds a way when laws are blind and freedom banned. Love breaks the walls of language, gender, class, and age. Love gives us wings to slip the bars of every cage. Love lifts the hopes that force and fear have beaten down. Love breaks the chains and gives us strength to stand our ground. Love rings the bells of wanted birth and wedding day. Love guides the hands that promise more than words can say. Love makes a bridge that winds may shake yet not destroy. Love carries faith through life and death to endless joy.
I'm writing to you to convince myself it's okay not to forgive them. I had a friend whose mother would make her and her sister slip a single extra large t-shirt over both of their tiny bodies whenever they got into a fight as kids. They would sit shoulder to shoulder, squirming in each other's nearness until one of them apologized and they were ready to hug and make up. I remain fascinated by this. Apparently, the parental strategy is not uncommon. When I asked her if it worked, she replied, "For who?" She disclosed that often she and her sister would continue to poke and pinch each other underneath the shared shirt. But when their mother's eyes drifted toward them, they'd pretend nothing was wrong and they weren't hurting beneath. Eventually, they did always find a way back to each other, but it was on their own terms. Once they knew they could trust the remorse in each other's voices or faces. This is the beginning of a question. Why do we presume that proximity will result in reconciliation? And if reconciliation is forced, can it be true?
back to solid ground. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open. Though the waves wanna push me around. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open till my faith brings me back to solid ground. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open. Though the waves wanna push me around. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open till my faith brings me back to solid ground. Keep your heart wide open. Though the waves want to push you around. You've got to keep your heart wide open. Till my faith brings you back to solid ground. Keep your heart wide open. The waves want to push you around. You've got to keep your heart wide open. Till my faith brings you back to solid ground. Till my faith brings me back to solid ground.
That was so good. Keep your heart wide open. Well, that's a tall order. Imagine how it could feel to be one of those kids in our reading crammed into what we called as a kid a get-along shirt, still fuming from a fight, and then trying to keep your heart wide open. In that moment, we could feel like the punishment was the cruelest thing ever, even though in our own way, our parents' intention was to remind us we are still family, even when we're fighting, even when we disagree, we still find a way to get along. They didn't consider that they can't force forgiveness. Although their hope was that we might somehow find our way back to each other, but finding our way back isn't always quick. It isn't always simple. And sometimes it can't be forced, not by a parent's strategy or by proximity alone. It's a lot like what we are experiencing right now in the world, being crammed into an oversized t-shirt with those who we deeply disagree with. Even those who have caused harm. Every instinct in us tells us to turn away, but we can't, because turning away would be its own kind of cruelty. And I don't know about you, but lately it seems like cruelty is the order of the day. Some might even say it feels like the world is changing from spinning on an axis of mutual care and shared responsibility to spinning on an axis of sin and cruelty where violence and greed and indifference turn to suffering to set the course. But I believe it's still possible. I think it's still possible for us to turn on an axis toward compassion. I grew up in a Christian environment, but even as a child, I experienced the holy as both within and beyond all things, what I now understand is called panentheism. And somewhere along the way, I realized that the way sin was often described to me, it didn't match what I knew in my bones. I came to discern that sin is not just breaking a rule or failing to meet some impossible perfection. Sin is a willful disconnection, a deliberate separation of people from each other, from creation, from the sacred whole of which we are a part. That just seemed more like sin to me. It's a choice to step out of relationship when repair is possible. It's the refusal to see one another's humanity. It's the turning away from compassion when compassion is right within our reach. That kind of separation, whether born of fear or pride or indifference, is the axis of cruelty on which our world so often spins. And the antidote to that sin, the antidote is covenant. Choosing again and again to remain in relationship when we could turn away. Alice Walker names the possibility in her poem, The World Rising, when she says, "The world rising can put an end to anything." She describes how to truly turn the cruelties of the world toward compassion, beginning with this: we must be done with cruelty, especially to ourselves, to start again, beaming like the sun. This is not just poetry. It is spiritual instruction. We must be done with cruelty to ourselves, done with the shame that erodes our joy, done with the guilt that traps us in the past, done with the fear that keeps us from trying, done with the lie that only perfection can save us, because perfection is not salvation. It just isn't. I learned about the lure of perfection early. I was about 7 or 8 when I brought home a spelling test. I got a 98%, highest score in the class. I raced home proud and excited, and I showed it to my mom, and my mother said, "Well, yeah, that looks good, but I wonder how much better you'd feel if you'd gotten those other 2 points." 100 beats 98 any day. The paper went into the trash before I reached my room. From then on, anything less than perfect felt like failure, because perfectionism it's a siren. It calls to us, promising worth and belonging, but it leads only to exhaustion and fear. It stunts our growth and turns our life into a performance. What we need is not perfection. What we need is authenticity. What we need is covenant. Reverend Gretchen Haley, a UU minister, reminds us covenantal theology isn't simply about making promises. It's about staying in relationship when those promises are inevitably broken and finding ways to reconnect and begin again. So covenant understands that we are autonomous people with different beliefs, yet bound together by a shared commitment to care, to justice, and to love. Covenant is not passive. It asks us to forgive when it's possible, to repair where it's needed, and to draw boundaries where safety demands it. Sometimes the most loving action is to disconnect from those who persist in harm, not in vengeance, but as an act of faithfulness of life. Friends, okay, so I know this is only my second sermon with you, and as of today, I've been working at this congregation, count them, 9 days. Someone might be, I don't know. We're still learning how to talk about the hard things and what kind of risk we can take together. So before I go where I'm about to go, I want you to hear this. I say what I say today in the spirit of love and in the hope of a deeper relationship with you. So here in the United States in 2025, we are witnessing attacks on voting rights, on reproductive freedom, on the dignity and safety of LGBTQIA+ people, and especially trans youth. We are seeing widening gaps between the wealthy and the poor, an epidemic of gun violence, and communities displaced or devastated by climate disasters. And here in New Mexico, our neighbors contend with water scarcity, wildfire recovery, and uranium contamination on native lands. We are a border state, which means the realities of migration, asylum, and militarization are not abstract, they are at our doorstep. We face a housing crisis, especially for those of the lowest incomes. And in our city, we see hunger and homelessness every day. And in the past 9 days, more than one person has told me, you know, Reverend Ali, this church is in a kind of sketchy community. It's in a sketchy part of town. And I want to talk about that because I grew up precariously housed in communities just like this one. At the time, I didn't know the many ways my family lived actually met the U.S. Housing Department's, that's HUD, Housing and Urban Development's definition of homelessness. We lived in periods of homelessness. And just so you know, HUD defines homelessness as lacking a fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence, which can include living in shelters, transitional housings, places not meant for habitation, or temporarily staying with others due to loss of housing, economic hardship, or a similar reason. I never knew we experienced episodes of homelessness in my childhood, and I didn't know for 2 reasons. First, my mother was a woman who moved mountains to keep us safe, as comfortable as possible, and deeply rooted in the belief that anything in the world was possible for us. She guarded our sense of self-worth as fiercely as some parents would guard their front doors. Second, mutual aid was not an abstract value that people had to go to college to learn about. It was the daily practice of our lives. My mother's friendships and community connections never let us down. When the rent was late or utility was cut off, the interdependent web between my mother, her friends, and our neighbors caught us time and time again. I was 26 years old, running a transitional housing facility before I understood that by HUD's definition, we had grown up in episodes of homelessness. My sister, who became a teacher, was around 30 when she was filling out a form for a kid at her school to get a bus to school before she realized that we had grown up with episodes of homelessness. We didn't know because we were never without the shelter of community. Those neighborhoods, the ones some people label as sketchy, were where I saw the deepest forms of care. If someone's lights were cut off, a neighbor would run an extension cord through the window. If a kid needed lunch, there was always a plate waiting at someone else's kitchen table. I have lived in affluent neighborhoods where people barely know each other or their names. But in places I grew up, everyone knew who you were and cared enough to notice when something was wrong. So when I hear sketchy, I hear a word that flattens all of that richness into a stereotype, a word that centers fear instead of relationship. Now, do we experience vandalism here? Yes, we do. Have we been burglarized? Yes, we have. Do people sleep on our property and leave their things strewn about? They sure do. And those are the realities we do not deny. But covenantal theology calls us to see the whole truth, that even here, and maybe especially here, we are surrounded by people who bear the spark of the divine, who belong to the same web of interdependence that holds us all. Sin would have us disconnect from them. Covenant calls us to connection. And in covenant, connection is not just about proximity. It is about centering love. Centering love means making love the measure for our decisions, our boundaries, and our speech. It asks, does this move me closer to love or away from it? It reminds us that justice without love can become rigid, and love without justice can become empty. When we center love, even in the face of vandalism, of fear, of difference, we remember that every person carries a story, and every person has worth. And every story is shaped by both wounds and by wonders. Centering love does not erase the harm that has been done, because that is real. It grounds us, and it grounds our responses so that we don't replicate the harm in return. Loving kindness doesn't mean ignoring harm or pretending that it doesn't exist. It means we respond to harm without losing sight of humanity. It means creating boundaries that protect without cutting off the possibility of relationship. It means asking in every encounter, how can I act in a way that moves towards connection rather than deeper disconnection? I want you all to take a breath because it feels like you're holding it. That was hard, right? But that's all right, because Octavia Butler tells us kindness eases change. What would it mean if part of our covenant was to make the path of change gentler, not less urgent, but more possible by grounding it in compassion? Beginning again in love means speaking the truth with courage and tenderness, protecting our neighbors, especially those targeted by violence or law, standing with indigenous water protectors, borderland humanitarian workers, and LGBTQIA+ youth in our own city. It means practicing repair instead of disposal in relationships, in movements, and in our community life. And in case you're hearing me say that you all don't do this or we don't do this, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we all can do it over and over, and we can begin again doing it. Alice Walker tells us to cauterize what no longer serves. And Octavia Butler offers kindness as the balm for what remains. And our own covenantal theology gives us the practice to return, to repair, to begin again. It won't be easy. We may have to share space with those who have hurt us or whom we've hurt, and wait for the moment when the conversation is possible. That waiting can be an act of love. We will need to look honestly at ourselves, and perhaps having a trusted friend holding the mirror, naming the truths that we would rather avoid. And then we will need to take the next faithful step toward relationship or toward letting go in love. Beloveds, together we can do this. Together, we can lay our burdens down. Together, we can bring forth change. Together, we can turn the axis of the world from cruelty toward compassion. Together, we can begin again in love. Together, we can build a new way. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be.
For our closing hymn today is number 1017 in the Teal hymnal, Building a New Way. Would you rise in body or spirit as we sing together?
Good morning. My name is Greg White. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees. I've been a member of this church for about 2 years. I have the privilege of inviting you to participate in the church's activities on many different levels. We, here at the UU Church, I'm going to read this. Las Cruces, our announcement aren't just updates. They are invitations and they are an opportunity for engagement. Each one is a chance to connect, to show up, and to live out our values in real ways. These are opportunities to grow in community, deepen your faith, and make a difference. That is to say, everything in this church is open to you. Well, throughout, it's not just the sermons and the choir, and it's not just the services afterwards. It's the services that occur all around us. And I get to tell you about some of them. I'm going to abbreviate what's in the order of service because there's a lot. But the early bird deadline for Women's Spirit is almost here. Tomorrow is the deadline for the early registration for the discount, and that's for the Women's Spirit Retreat, September 26th to 28th. Those of you who are new to the church, you women, or women who have been here for a while, who are looking to know what the church does and some of the spiritual and interpersonal aspects of it, really urge you to consider this. I personally haven't gone, but but I do hear good things. So you can go out in the foyer in the lobby, and Sarah Thomas is out there with an orange sign. The Fall Adult Enrichment Registration opened August 1st, and again, out in the lobby, you can find more information on it. These are classes that have members of the congregation volunteering their time, volunteering their knowledge, volunteering their energy, and some of them are really fun. There's a film attendance and discussion group. There's bridge. There's on and on. If you want to know what the church is about and you want to get involved, that's a good way to do it. If you want to advertise the church and brag that you are a UU, which is a great idea, our t-shirts are back. Multiple colors. We have a great message on them, and they're not that expensive. So again, Sarah Thomas is out there, and buy a t-shirt. Funds are useful to the church, and yeah. I have some other ones that aren't on the handout. The Tombog Gallery, which most of you know about, opens again for the fall on the first Friday in September. That's the 5th. And we have Mary Beagle, who is an incredible artist. We'll have 17 paintings and seven sculptures in the gallery. We open on the first Friday. That gives you people a chance to come out, have a little wine, a little refreshments, meet the artist, hear a presentation on the artist and how her work has evolved. If you don't have anything to do and you want really cheap, free entertainment, come on out. The campus cleanup, which is just a little ad hoc, informal activity that a couple of us do. Talk to Karen Crumpton or me afterwards. I'll tell you what we've done, if you're interested, where we want to go, and we take input and we build on it. It's sort of like cleaning up after or before a party at your home, I don't tell my wife what to do. She doesn't tell me what to do. But we do make it possible for each other, and we will make it possible for you all to find a project that meets your abilities and that meets your needs to make the campus continue to shine. We have Change for Change has already been announced. The reason we do Change for Change is that we're involved in the community. We participate in the community. And KTALLP 101.5 FM on your radio stations list is a great voice for democracy, for peace, for artistic expansion. Chip in when you get a chance. I want to say a little bit, the anniversary celebration is on September 20th, 70 years. And Danny is looking for help. He's looking for volunteers. So he said to make sure that, let you know that there will have food, music, fun, and a look at our past, present, and future. So if you want to have fun, there's another opportunity. Finally, I just want to mention very briefly that out here in the foyer, there's a few plants from Janet Martinique's home and one pot. So if you need a house plant and you want to have a memory of someone who was dear and valued in this community, there's a living opportunity. Thank you all.
Well, there we are. Don't say you don't have anything to do, because Lord knows you do. There's a lot to do.
I have one more thing.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. This people volunteering their time and their energy and their heart to committees. We have committees that make this church possible. If you have time, energy, look at what our list of committees are and join one, please.
He said, join a committee, doggone it. And as we leave this sanctuary, let us carry our message of covenant to the world. Let us live in ways that are covenanted and kind, and let us keep the axis of compassion turning to start again, beaming like the sun. So may it be.
Would you join me, please, in saying the words we say as we extinguish our chalice? The words are on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment.